Okay, we are live. Hey, everybody, we're on day 16 of the 40-day miracle challenge. And the last few days I've been talking about our reality and how if things are happening within our reality that are encouraging us to feel an emotion, we've talked about different ways to step back and what we can do to change our perception of the reality so we don't take that vibration on. Today, I have Ardas, my friend here, who's a healer, and she's a specialist in space. Not space, well, she's both spaces, the cosmos and our environment. If you go to her home, you'll see her home is gorgeous, but she knows how to work with space so that it can serve you. And she's put together 10 ways that you can alter your environment or be in relation with your environment so that it can serve you and what you want, your miracle, that thing you want to manifest, whether it be a feeling or an actual goal or a miracle. So Ardas, thank you so much. And I want to say the name of your company correctly. It's Alter. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do first?
Yes, it's Alter Home, and the website is alterhome.me. And I do a lot of different things. I am trained in 5 different types of healing work. I spent many years studying with lots of different healers, and can do different types of energy work, which I bring into my work when I work with people to help lift the vibration of their space, lift the vibration of their lives. Because when you work with people in their homes, it can bring up a lot of things. Like if you've ever had your mother-in-law come in and try to start moving things around, it's gonna be a little agitating. But when you work with somebody that wants it to be incredible for you and how you live your life, then you can really feel the beneficial effects.
I love the mother-in-law analogy because my mother-in-law, I love her so much. No, it's actually my mother. I love them both. But they'll come and I like to keep my counter space super clear. Yeah. And I notice that when they come, they'll put things there. And I get it's not their visit that makes me feel like I can't breathe. It's that they put things on my countertops. It's like a weird thing. That's funny that.
Yes.
And you're right, it does bring up so much emotional stuff. Just the thought of clearing out and organizing my closet, I feel like I need 2 weeks just to emotionally prepare for this endeavor. So it is so interrelated. So you have put together these 10 things, and at the end of this, we are going to give, Ardas has been so kind and gracious to offer a free printable of the 10 things that she's going to present today. Information. So if you feel like you need help with your space, with the emotional aspect, energetic, just any level of it, you'll hear her talk today, then all of her information will be on that link below in the notes section. And if you're watching this in the future, it will still be there, the link.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And she'll have her website information and how you can reach her, and fantastic resource. So I'm going to let you take the floor and
begin. Great. Well, when I was creating this top 10 list for Dharm Diner, I realized that really the main theme, if you want to take this and run with the whole time we're going to talk today, the main theme is that it's all about resonance. That's all that it's about. It's the same concept as when you walk into a restaurant and the people in your party, there are some people that they have to have a certain seat. It just feels better to them. They feel more comfortable. They feel like maybe they want the power seat or they really don't want the power seat at the table. It's all about how you resonate with a space, how you fit in time and space. And so it's the same whether it's in your office or in your home. It's really all about resonance. And so, we are many things, both good and bad. We're going to have those representations in our home.
Would you say resonance is energy?
Yes.
So energy, vibration, resonance, kind of the same?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes, definitely. For those that want to use those words, they're totally interchangeable. But I was just trying to give a super grounded experience of how people behave, whether they think they're sensitive to energy or vibrations or not, because they really are in some ways. It's the rare person that's completely numbed out where they have no relationship to where they want to be in a room, where they want to be at a table, where they want to be in their home, and thus how they want things in their home to be placed and where they want them to be. Again, I was saying, like, you know, we're a lot of things good and bad. So in our spaces, we reflect and resonate with those things, both good and bad. So when you're trying, like with Dharma Diner, what Dharma Diner is trying to do, when you're trying to like amp it up and bring it up to the next level and make those changes, there are going to be some things in your space that are just not going to work with your energy anymore, your vibration. You're not going to resonate with it anymore because you're growing and changing and learning. So somebody that's never seen your space before, like me, you know, even if we do it on Skype, you can show me a space and immediately it'll be very clear what's not really serving you because that vibration is low. Why is it low? Well, one of the first things on the list is, you know, you've got to either fix, replace, or get rid of broken things.
I love that.
That's number one. Like, you just can't have a bunch of junk lying around. Put some energy in and keep moving it. Keep moving it. It's easy for stuff to collect, and I'll get to it later. Everybody has their pile of projects. That's normal. That's life. We can't just do house projects all the time. But keep it moving. If it's never going to get fixed, it's fine. Let it go. If it doesn't need to be replaced, don't replace it. If you really essentially need to replace it, just keep the energy moving. Keep it moving. So that's like a very simple number one thing. That's an easy, super way to like energetically raise the vibration of your space. It also frees up a lot of creativity within you because those things pull on you. They nag you. They irritate you. And when you have a bunch of things like that that are continually irritating you, it's just one more straw is going to break the camel's back. And
I'm taking notes. So when it comes to question time, I have just a very small question.
Yeah.
Well, because I could get irritated like every minute of the day with my house. And, you know, like I can let things weigh on me, like almost obsessive compulsive, if that's the right word. So I just, like, at some point, I'm just writing it down, and maybe I can email it to you later. That'd be interesting to talk about. How do you manage that relationship so it's not completely overwhelming? Because sometimes I look around my house and I see everything that needs to be fixed, and I just cannot breathe. So it's like managing, okay, make a list, and then every Monday you tackle one thing, and so it doesn't have to be all at once, kind of thing. Absolutely.
And there's two ways to address that list of that we all have going on. We always have a list going, either mentally or on paper, right?
Right.
So there's two ways to address that. And this can be in life, but with your space too. So it's like some people do better if they attack the one project that's going to take the most energy first, because they know when that's done, so much creativity and stress is going to be released.
Oh, I love that.
Some people work better by tackling the smaller things first and building up the energy to get to the big one that's kind of overwhelming in some capacity for them. So like it's just knowing the way that you work and remembering the payoff. The payoff is the energy release. It's kind of like working out sometimes isn't always fun, but the payoff is like how you feel afterwards, the energy release. You feel happier, feel more in your body, you feel calmer, you feel whatever it is that you feel, it's better. And getting addicted to that feeling rather than the annoying feelings that can totally build up.
I love that. And just like letting it, enjoying it one at a time with the list, not feeling like you have to finish the whole list in order to have that success, the feeling of release. It's enjoy each release per project.
Yeah, because the list never ends. So you might as well be like, oh, wow, I did that one thing. I've been thinking about that one for years. Or, oh, I got that finished and that was on my list today. Good job.
So, and some projects take phases. Like my husband and I have to clean our barn out, and I know that's going to take probably 2 weeks.
Yes.
Like of consistent coming back to it. So you're right.
Yeah. And sometimes you can squeeze some prosperity out of those projects. I mean, there might be things that you could give away, that's prosperous, or you can sell, that's prosperous, or you can, you know, Give to
Totally.
well, give to a family in need. It doesn't matter. It's just it keeps the point is,
Or even finding something that is so awesome
yeah,
that you didn't even you forgot that you had.
yes. And then you feel more prosperous. You're like, oh, I have that. Look
And
at
milk
that.
it. Milk that prosperous feeling. I love that you said like the
Yes.
reward is the feeling, the reward is the energy that comes. And that's what we're talking about, really milking and holding on to that. So like I was talking about meditation a few videos back and how some thoughts, yes, you want it to be like that circle drive where some go in, they go out. But the ones that come in and the feelings that come in that match what we want, just kind of let them stay there for a little bit and milk it. So same when you're cleaning something out, just like really just like enjoy that energy.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Or
Go
even
ahead.
if you hate cleaning, but
Mm-hmm.
you like the effect afterwards, go with
Mm-hmm.
that feeling. Because for some people, this is just like a nightmare. It's not like I like cleaning my stuff either. I don't. What I like is the energy that it gives me afterwards, and the energy it gives people that come into my home, and the what I'm creating here for people, and how people sometimes just feel a healing effect coming into the home.
I do. I feel that way when I go to your house. I don't know if it's all the crystals.
Maybe.
Or the couches that you have that I want.
Yeah. Well, I kind of feel like you can do this no matter what you have or don't have, because again, it is about a resonance.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went over, getting rid of the things that don't use, don't work, or replacing them or upgrading them. So there's lots of, you have to go kind of through that process. That's sort of like 101 basic simple stuff that's like out there everywhere. Absolutely. That releases a lot of energy. Another thing that also is a great thing to evaluate, I feel like, for some people, is that if some of the things you have take more energy to upkeep than the energy it actually gives you, then it's a drag and you do not need it.
Is this point 2?
This is point 2.
Okay.
It's kind of like, this is when people become a slave to their things, and a slave to objects, a slave to their car or their boat, or I don't know, anything in the home that takes more energy to upkeep than it actually gives you. Now, if you're somebody who absolutely has to have there are these like leather carpets out there, these handmade, hand-sewn leather carpets. They're kind of, it's a certain look for a certain kind of place. But if you have kids and pets and you're constantly like frantic about keeping that looking beautiful and pristine, you're gonna suffer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it sounds really basic, but people can get really attached to some things that just take too much upkeep. Most like busy people in their lives have already figured that out, but some people can't because of the attachment. So I would say just like kind of look around, evaluate if something is just sucking your energy way too much, not because of, I'll give other reasons of how things suck your energy, but because of the upkeep, then I would say let it go, let the dream go, maybe replace it with something more efficient, that's easier, and just move on. Other things this is maybe point 3, other things that can suck your energy are more specifically like emotional energy. And this is where obligations and expectations come into play. People have things in their homes that they feel they have to keep because of emotional connections to it. Something that somebody gave you that you just don't have good energy with them, but you keep it. You don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to repurpose it or what to do with it. But every time you see it, you get triggered emotionally in a not healthy way. There's 2 ways to deal with that, right? Mm-hmm. You get rid of the thing or you transform the emotion. Both are ideal. But if you can't transform that emotion, if it's just sticking and lingering and that thing is like a little agitating, just let go of that thing. Even if you just put it in a closet until maybe that emotional relationship is sort of a little bit more resolved. I mean,
that's the 3rd one, like things that are triggering emotionally.
Yes. Right? So it's also sort of an upkeep emotionally in a way. Maybe you could put it under upkeep, but it's It's something that's not giving to you. It's taking from you. And, you know, I will say that this is where meditation fixes so many things, because ideally you want to be that yogi that can be in any environment with all kinds of triggers and you're content, right? You are content. But really your home, your workspace, these are the very few environments you can control. Mm-hmm. So why not make it as peaceful as possible? I mean, you're doing the work anyway. You're working on the different family triggers or emotional friend triggers or whatever. But if something is constantly nagging at you in your own home, in your own oasis, I would just let it go or put it on your altar. That's another option.
Well, it's a good point, because dealing with your, I like how you said, these are the, yes, as a yogi, as a person who would love to be flexible in all these different kinds of spaces, they might be two different topics of a space that you have to tolerate versus a space you're able to create.
Yes.
Like going to your in-laws' home for a 2-week vacation, or I think one of the blurry areas that would be fascinating to talk about, but from your perspective as a space, as dealing with space and altars and energy, is people's work environments.
Yes.
Because that's like a mixed space.
Yes.
And we spend 7 to 8 hours. Some people in an office space spend 7 to 8 hours a day there. It's so much time. So that's a really interesting subject. But today we are talking about the spaces we can control, like our home and our home office and our even our cars, and just spaces that we have more control over.
Yes. Yeah.
Agree? Like they're kind of separate, or okay.
Well, I guess it depends on the person's workspace, if it's completely shared or if there's like a little oasis of a cubicle where you can sort of make your mini environment. I mean, if you look at it, it's like, you know, your body is a mini environment, your aura is an energetic environment, then whatever space you have to go into, you still create your own environment with yourself. And then as extensions of that in your work and your home space. So you want it to feed you, not drain you. And yeah, that's a good
choice point.
That could be number 4, sure. And these things are kind of evolving as I go. So
you're so you did have a list.
I have a list, but they're so interconnected and things keep popping out. So
okay, so that's number 4.
Yeah, I mean, like tons of people have said that, so it's not original. Like you want to walk into your space and feel nourished and fed and uplifted and relax. I mean, however you want to feel in your space. I'm just talking about maybe my space. Maybe people want to go into their spaces and feel like on fire and revved up and energetic, and that's fine. You can create space totally like that.
Well, I like that you said it's really, but with any space, it's making a conscious choice, whether it's whatever the environment is. It's just bringing awareness to the space. Just being conscious of it is like,
yeah, definitely. And how little things added up can either drain or give you energy. They just do. And they're little things nagging on your energy, and we don't need any more irritations in our lives. Is kind of how I see it. You need as few as possible to you know, be in your center. Okay, so let's kind of move on. Let's see.
We're on number 5.
Okay.
5-ish.
Well, I think one thing that I like to remind people is that, like, you can have both form and function. Like in design talk, you know, they always talk about form and function. And to me, that really just means, is it beautiful and does it work? Both. Like you can have both. You don't just have to have one or the other. Like some people, for example, I don't know, I'll use an appliance as an example. Like it's a great fridge. It works perfectly, but it's just ugly as sin. Like you look at it and you cringe. Well, guess what? There's really good looking refrigerators out there that are really stylish and have incredible design aesthetic. And you can look at it and it can actually be really like pleasing to you and give you energy that way. And it's super functional in your home. I mean, there's a lot of things like that. You'd be surprised. Like people keep shoes that are so beautiful, but they can't wear them.
So it goes both ways.
It goes both ways. It goes both ways. So sometimes, I mean, art is in a separate category because its function is to inspire or give you that aesthetic pleasing quality or experience. But because I mean, art isn't usually broken unless it's actually physically broken. But we're just talking about everything, like beautiful couch, but it's so uncomfortable to sit in. Like things like that. Like I just want people to remember they can have both. You can have both. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can have something, you know, that's beautiful to you and that actually serves the function it was designed to serve. So.
I like that. You can have both.
You can have both, and you should. You kind of should have both because it's feeding you on both levels. You know, feeding you on both levels.
I love that.
It's helping your life, serving your life, but also it has a aesthetic value.
Aesthetically, I like that. I can feel like I'm like getting spacey because I'm digesting the information. I can tell my mind's like, oh yeah, what am I thinking of all these shoes I should get rid of, and like or like this leather coat that's so nice, but I never wear it because I don't. Just so my mind's already like.
Yes, I think it's easier for most people to like go there with clothes and stuff, but it kind of is like with anything, you know. Useful and beautiful is like a winning combination.
Oh, I like that. That could be the name of a book.
I guess it could be.
Useful and beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, we're on
people. Okay, anyway. Okay, so let's see. And then, of course, there's always the power of the intention of your space.
Talk more about that for sure.
Yeah, I think this is where, you know, when I look at feng shui, I see the power and the function in it. But I've heard other designers say this, and I completely agree, and I've always thought this. You know, sometimes that corner of the house is just made for a certain thing, and it can't go with feng shui. So to me, feng shui, and maybe many people would disagree, and that's completely okay, I think one of the reasons why that works is the power of intention. You, in your mind, that corner is the relationship corner. And so every time you look at that, you're feeding it subconsciously and consciously, whether you put anything, any twos of anything there or not. That's what you're feeding. So the power of intention is really so powerful. So if you work with your home in an intuitive way that flows, like it feels better if my office is in this room instead of that room, and it feels right and solid and grounded in your body, then go with that and feed that intention, no matter what other modalities or models may say, because I think that supersedes anything, really.
I love that because I was studying feng shui for a while, and there's so much. If you were to do feng shui 100%, it is a lot to restructure your whole home and surroundings. So the power of intention itself could save a lot of time, a lot of money. Well, not just time and money, but I guess it just it's I feel like it's more empowering.
Yes.
Empowering than feeling like, oh, I have to get this perfect frog feng shui statue with the coin coming out in order to activate this corner. Because, you know, sometimes all that stuff is hard to find, or I need to walk out. You know, in feng shui, they say you have to walk out and see so many fish to the left of you, and that's a sign of prosperity. So it would take a lot. And instead of putting the intention on the things, you're putting the intention in yourself to hold that. So I love that it's empowering to the person.
It is, and you can still externalize your power of intention with, you know, an altar in your office for prosperity, an altar in your bedroom for relationship, an altar. Really, I think altars in every space, even if it's just tiny, a picture and a little flower, it can be so powerful because it's activating your innate human capacity to project and manifest.
Well, yeah.
And subtle is powerful. It doesn't matter how overt or not it is.
Okay. Got it. I know everyone's got it.
Okay.
It's
So we're on 7, or what are we doing here?
7.
7. Okay, let's see where I'm at. Okay, so this other thing is a little on a different level, but let's just go for it. Okay, so sometimes you walk into somebody's space and you literally walk into a different time and space.
I've been there.
Yes, and you walk in and you're like, okay.
Ooh.
So there's 2 theories on that that I encounter with clients energetically. Sometimes they're pulling on a past life that was very fulfilling, and sometimes they're pulling on a past life that was totally incomplete and wounded, and they're manifesting that in their space. It's not just taste from my experience. There's a strong connection to that time and space that they are surrounding themselves with. Yeah.
I know that to be true.
Absolutely.
For me, I have always been criticized of not wanting anything in my space. I'm the kind of person that could have just wood floors, a vase with a flower, and a sitting pillow.
Yes.
And I know it's because, I mean, I've already been told I've meditated for a lot in my past lives, but to me, I just love the simplicity. It's tranquil.
Yeah.
So I totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think it's important for people to pull on. I mean, that's one of the, I don't know if techniques is the right word, but one of the
Tools?
healing tools we would use in school with clients that I had learned is that, you all have cellular memories and they all get activated at different times. And what you want to do is really pull on the ones that are strengthening and heal the ones that are not, heal the ones that are wounded. And there's a certain technique to do that. But when it happens in your space, just be aware of what you're kind of creating. If you have that sensitivity of what's coming out, it's perfectly fine to have eclectic whatever. Like that doesn't matter if it's like all Renaissance theme or if you've got a Chinese thing over here and over here you have Celtic themes and this, and it doesn't matter. Just if you can be aware of what you're pulling from those vibrations and those times and spaces, it would, it's good. It's part of your self-training. It's part of your resonance and remembering the totality of who you are,
Yeah, that's love. I mean, it's an honoring.
It is. You honor yourself. And, it kind of takes it to a different level of like, oh, I just like that. No, it might be more than just liking that. Why don't you meditate on that, maybe? Why do you like the Celtic time? Why is that a connection for some people? So, some people are very clear on that and some it's just like an attraction.
Well, I also think it's important. I felt, for instance, my mother would come into my college dorm or whatever, and she'd see that I'd only have, because that's how I lived. I just had hardwood floors, a futon. I had a place where I meditated. That's it. That's all I wanted. And she would say things like, I can't believe you don't have the hope chest that I gave you. I mean, you really should have this. You should have that. This feels so. It's like her perception and judgment of it used to really bother. I felt like something was wrong with me. Like, oh, something wrong with me. But when you're saying to honor it, and I like that you're saying honor it, and the sooner a person knows that, the more they can stand behind that. If they do get external pressure from any place, that it is a part of who we are, and just let it be. And you don't have to get defensive, but other people's opinions can be, but honor what you know it to be. Yeah. So it's very healing. That's a very healing tool.
Definitely. And especially, when I work with clients where there's, couples and they have different things that they're pulling on and different, it's not, again, it's not just style and choice of way of living. Sometimes it really is like, well, that was a really powerful time of my soul's experience and I want to have that here. And, combining those things.
I mean, I don't know if you feel this with your husband, but I do. That's why my husband and I have our own office space.
Yeah.
When I walk into his office, I can feel completely different energy in there. And I think that us having our own space is a way of not dueling it out in the common areas, where in the common areas we're like, we can like compromise back and forth.
Yeah.
But our own space, it's like, no one's opinion matters. You know,
Yeah.
you don't get any say. But it's definitely that whole couple thing is fascinating when you bring two people together.
Definitely.
And if you don't like their style, because I don't particularly enjoy my husband's past life energy. Like he likes Harley, you know, these Harley it's like a Harley, it's like a bike energy, it's like Harley, and I'm like, ugh, you know, like I have no relation with that, you know, like I don't know, but I think enough. Yeah. But I honor it. I do honor it. I do honor his. That's why he gets his own special room.
What number was that? Was that 8?
That was 8.
Okay, I've got 2 more. Okay. Are
you like only 2 more? How is that even possible?
I might have blended a few more, but okay. One that I didn't touch on, and this is
have to go to 10 if you feel. It's just really like encompassing the most important points that you feel.
But this is a really simple one. This is a really easy remedy, easy, light, super easy. Sometimes in a space, if it's feeling sort of like dull or not. Okay, you know, sometimes when you leave your home on a trip and you come back and it's like, it feels really empty because there wasn't people's energies and pets, nobody was in there feeding it, right? It really, it's kind of an amazing thing. Well, sometimes if even you want to up the vibe or trying to make a change and things are getting tense or whatever, if you kind of just even add more things that are alive, like small things, like just, it can really change the frequency and the prana of a space. This is like so simple. Again, it's just like flowers and plants, crystals. I mean, you don't have to like go out and get a pet or have a child, but I'm just saying like alive things really do add. And if you're depleted, sometimes they can give to you. And again, it's about creating a space that will give to you. Plants are super easy that way, that low, you know, maintenance, and they give a lot. I mean, also, of course, they give oxygen and they lower, you know, radicals in the air. And it's just, anyway, so that's a super easy, simple fix that can be nourishing and help revitalize a space that maybe has just been repurposed or has been stagnant or who knows what. So that's simple, tiny.
I love that. Well, crystals, I don't know anything about crystals. You do. You know a lot about crystals. You do crystal therapy too.
Yeah. The basic science behind crystals is that in our bones, in our blood, in our body, there are actual crystalline structures. This is science. So when you're working with a healer that's using crystals and they know what they're doing, and it's not just, oh, the color of the chakra and this is the color of that. I mean, that's really has its place, but it's much bigger than that. It's not as cookie cutter as that can be, as that chart seems to say. So again, we have crystalline structures in our body, so crystals resonate with those crystalline structures. Again,
I have never heard it like that. That makes me feel drawn to it. Like,
yes.
Her?
Yes. I mean, it's just science. It's kind of like we love as humans to go to bodies of water. Why? We have so much water in us. It's part of it is resonance and healing, in addition to the millions of other reasons why, right?
Wow.
But it is based on science. So when somebody knows how to work with crystals to help heal you, it's like an ancient and advanced healing art all in one. Because
that makes me want to get a crystal healing. Like, I really want to get healed by a crystal right now.
Yeah. So with quartz crystals specifically, they magnify. What they do is they magnify, and it's used in science. It's used in watches. It's used in lasers. I mean, science knows this. It magnifies intention. It magnifies power. It magnifies energy. It magnifies light. So when you put an intention into a crystal, and you place that on somebody's body, the crystal and the body are talking to, there's a resonance. There's a resonance.
In the yogic world that we've roamed in, all these people get particular crystals in their rings.
Right.
So it's doing the same thing. You're like that, the energy of that's why the energy of the stone.
Yes.
Translates. And it's interesting.
Yes. Yeah. And yogically we use it based on, you know, the planets that each of the fingers rule, and the different qualities of the human that each of the fingers rule, and putting a certain stone on there is supposed to help activate it. But again, it's also because of the power of your intention.
I was just thinking that. Though I have to say the crystals seem really, because it is scientifically based, it does seem like it could, just like water, like you can't not drink water all day and then have the intention of feeling hydrated.
Yeah.
Water. With crystals, it seems as though those crystals may actually do something that you can't necessarily do with the power of intention.
Right. It's a little bit like food.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's like food, but on a different level of nourishment. Yeah. So it's again, just even bringing in really quality, high vibration, even if it's small, but like it's about resonance. If you're feeling it, if you're drawn, you can bring it in, and of course you can look online different ways to care for them, but it is about resonance. And so I guess the last little experimental thing you can try with yourself to build your sensitivity to resonance in general is sit in one place. Say you're in your living room, sit in one place and see how that feels, and then get up and you go sit in a different place and you see how that feels. Or stay in one spot in a room and move one thing and see if you can feel the frequency change. Just move it in the space and place it somewhere else and build your sensitivity to feel that. Wow, that feels better. That feels worse. I mean, there's a whole healing. There's so many healing arts based on this. Family constellation work is based on this.
I love that stuff. But people know. We know. Like, it's like we come back to the feeling, trusting your feelings of trying these different spaces. So I have a challenge question for you.
Okay.
So like say, because we're working on miracles right now, I wouldn't say working, but we're retraining ourselves to feel the thing that we want, so that to think, feel, speak, and act the thing that we want, so that we become the vibration that attracts that vibration. That's the whole foundation of the 40-day law of attraction, 40-day miracle thing. And so in relation to space, so if I have the thing that I want, I have the miracle that I want, and I know the feeling of it, like, okay, if I've done the work to write down, my miracle feels like this, and it feels like this, and it would feel like this, and I would feel like this, and I feel like this, just getting all these feeling words so that it can create this feeling. In relation to space or the healing work you do, do you have anything to add to that would help a person maintain keeping that feeling dominant versus keeping the feeling of what they want dominant versus the external reality and what it's presenting?
Oh my God, I was just talking about this with my husband. How much consciousness or self-mastery it takes to differentiate between your intuition, which is the reality you feel coming. Intuition is not based in fantasy or even what you want. It's the reality coming, right?
Right.
And differentiating between your intuition and your fear, and balancing that with the here and now reality. Those, like a triangle.
Like a triangle.
It's like sometimes when you're pushed in these life situations, it's usually time of change, time of unknown, time of upheaval, whatever it is. And that is the space when you're pulling for a miracle too, because things are going to change. Things are totally going to change. Yeah. So I guess what I would say is, you set your projection, that's sort of like the bubble maybe for everything. Mm-hmm. And then your intuition is sensing the way it's coming. It's reality. Mm-hmm. You may be sensing externally how it may be manifesting. And that might take time. but it's because intuition, again, it's like how you receive information from the world, and it should be strong so you can protect yourself, but also so you can project yourself, like both, right?
Mm-hmm.
That arc line. So project the miracle, use your intuition to gather the information. Be grounded in the here and now, though, so you don't flip out into fantasy land, because that's another mental deviation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the third is tame the fear, and that's, I think, where the meditation comes in. That's all it's going to do, is just tame that other part of the triangle. So that, all right.
Very good. I like that. I love the triangle. I'm still hearing everything you said. Love it.
I don't know if it makes sense. So like the triangle and the circle. So the circle would be your infinity, your capacity, the miracle you're going for.
Got it.
Top of the triangle, you should lead with your intuition. Maybe one bottom of the triangle is grounding yourself in the reality of here and now, so you don't flip out into fantasy lands and start to split in any part of your psyche, right? You want to stay, okay, this is actually real. This is actually how much money is in the bank right now. That's okay. That's okay. My miracle is working. My intuition is feeling how it's coming. And my fear at the other end of the triangle, the grounded side, it's really just contained within the grace of my meditation. It's contained. It's there. It's okay. It might say something here and there. It might try and talk to me, but I'm not going to let it run the show. It's not the top of the triangle, and it's not the circle around the triangle. That's the reality.
You're a genius.
That's a good challenge question.
Well, it's a good visual. It's a great visual to bring a lot of these different theories and tools and together. It just helps put it in like a visual. Oh, okay, yeah. Like each piece that you're talking about.
Because I think that sometimes with some of the like positive thinking stuff out there, I think it can really split people's psyches if it's not grounded and if it's also not polarized. Sometimes that stuff can be polarizing, and we don't want to polarize ourselves. We want to stay in our power, and you know, the positive and the negative charge only have power when they connect, like an electrical circuit. There's no electricity running unless you connect in the car the positive and the negative parts on the battery. You can't just have positive. The negative has a role, and we know that through our yogic studies of the negative mind, the positive mind, and the neutral mind. Like, we understand they all have a function. It's not good, bad. It's not like that. So I think that it's so important to utilize the whole of ourselves, stay grounded, but stay infinite at the same time. And
you know, to me, like one of the most powerful things, I have to write it down, that you've said for that is to staying grounded while doing this kind of work. This is, I don't think it's addressed enough, because I know so many people that are so like, woo, they're just so out there emotionally too. Like it's almost painful.
Yeah.
Painful.
It is, and it's creating splits that don't need to be there. You know, their intentions are good, their heart is good.
Right.
They are experiencing a part of reality that's real, but we want our totality happening here. You know,
the totality. Oh, good job, Ardas. You did good on the challenge question.
Okay, I passed it.
Yeah. So
I passed the challenge question. I think there was only 9 points, but I kind of blended a couple of them together.
10. You did 10. If you rewatch this, you'll see you did 10.
Oh, good. Okay.
And so we're going to put a link down below in the notes section, so that if you've made it this far, you have to put #AlterHome. Awesome, because it's a bit of content to watch. And Ardas, I just want to thank you for being willing to jump on the camera and start talking. So good of you. And I had some ideas for you about Alter Home too as you were talking. I'm like, oh, she should do that. She should do that. So I can't wait to connect. And is there anything you want to say as we wrap up?
I guess I just want to say it was super fun talking about this stuff that I love sharing with people, and I kind of like it's like, you know how we're all sort of wired automatically in a certain way?
Yeah.
You just can't even help it. Like maybe with your theater training, you maybe walk into situations and you just see a room full of weird characters. I don't know how your brain works, but it's like this for me, this is how I'm wired. And so I just love helping people in this way. I've done it for really almost 30 years. So I was doing it before I was an adult, but I was doing it for all my friends and everyone. And it's just such a joy to uplift vibrations and uplift people. And I love to do it. I can do it on Skype with people. I've done it psychically with people too. And I'm just happy to serve. So thank you for the opportunity to do this. It was really fun.
Yeah, you definitely are. I feel like you're definitely have come into this place where all of the skills in your life are meshed into this one beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, and I totally give my full support for anyone that's thinking of reaching out to Ardas at Alter Home. I fully stand behind that. And I hope to have you on again when we talk about a whole bunch of other different topics in relation to space and healing. And there's just so much.
It's really fun to talk about. And yeah, I hope we can get other people like chiming in the future and just explore life with everyone. It'll be fun.
Yes. Yes. And then, yeah, in the future, sometimes the live chat box comes on, you know, just answer people's questions. So there's a lot of different ways to serve today. So it's great. So again, Ardas's information is going to be below inside of the link. I'm going to put it inside of the document, but also put it just in the notes section too, if a person's in a hurry. And feel free to give us a thumbs up. And if you are watching and you are a person who believes that everyone's individual truth is their path, that is the definition of Dharma. So please subscribe and support the concept, and we'll continue to put tons of great content that serve that mission. Okay, thanks again, Ardas. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.